Yeah. Good evening. It is February the 19th, and we're here for our council meeting here in Sunbury, Ohio. We'll go ahead and begin with if you are able to stand, please stand for a silent prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We're ready for roll call, if you would, please.
Mr. Capel?
Here.
Mr. Here. Mr. Ghost?
Here.
Mr. Grumney?
Here.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mrs. Cooper? Here. And Mayor St. John is absent. 6 present, we have quorum.
Thank you, Ms. Swain. And then so it looks like we had a meeting back on February the 5th, had some minutes to review. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Any discussion?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Cindy. Ms. Cooper, sorry. So we have a second by Ms. Cooper, a motion by Mr. Martin. Can I get a roll call?
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Grumney? Ghost?
Yes.
Ms. Strayer?
Yes.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
68 minutes passed.
Okay, thank you. And just looking at, do we have any visitors that would like to speak to council this evening? Yes, sir. If you could come up to the microphone and just state your name and your address and just ask if you keep your comments around 3 minutes. Thank you.
My name is Bob Brandenstein. I live at 641 Millstone Court. I moved to Sunbury about 3-4 years ago. And ever since I moved here during the winter, I have ice built up along the street, along the bottom of my driveway. Every year I go out there, I break it up with a sledgehammer. This past summer, they redid the street, they resurfaced it. At that time, they cleaned the gutter, they replaced the gutter as well as the curbing. Immediately when I saw them do it, I knew water wasn't going to flow down and I was going to have ice build up again because the gutter was set up too high. I text or emailed Jacob's dockmaster and I talked to him about it and he said he would send somebody out to take care of it, in which he did. The contractor came out, they shaved it down, but they still didn't shave enough down. And the grate to the sewer line or the sewer grate has raised up. So when it happened again in January, and I have pictures here I'd like to show you guys that we can look at. I had to go out there and break it up 3 days in a row. There's some ice that was 4 to 6 inches thick all along the bottom of my driveway. It's an accident ready to happen. Somebody slips on that and falls on it. When I emailed Jacob again, the response I got was that I have an overactive sump pump, which I guess my neighbors also have one because all their water comes down. But because of it being raised up, it's iced up. I'm going to be 66 years old next month. I don't feel like I should have to go out there with a 16-pound sledgehammer and break up ice so I don't fall, my wife doesn't fall, or anybody else falls, and they break a bone, they break a hip, they do a head injury. So I would just like somebody to come out and take a look. Tell me if there's something can be done or they can't do something, but at least I know that, because he did send somebody out, I guess, but no one ever told me. No, I never got a phone call saying we did this, we did that. I just want somebody out there that I can explain it to them. We can look at it together and then come up with a solution for it. So
I appreciate that.
if I can leave this
Please.
so you can see the pictures.
Mhm. And Darryl, yeah, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And Darryl, I'm assuming we can have someone from the city reach out and, okay, good. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay,
Your contact information on that picture, so
Yeah, I
that,
have my
okay,
phone number, the address.
thanks.
okay. Okay, moving along. We have committee reports. So we'll start with Mr. Dreyer.
I do not have any.
Okay, I do. I have a finance report. We had a nice meeting, packed full with information. We got a 2024 financial update where we discussed revenues and expenditures. And everything is looking good comparing to 23 to 24. No issues or alarms there. We talked about our refuse contract. We got 2 bids in, Local Waste and Rumpke. So we're continuing discussions on that, and including a recycle program. So that's moving forward. We have a 25-26 insurance renewal. It did increase, but rightfully so, because last year we did an evaluation of our assets, which increased the overall value of the city's assets. So an increase in insurance premium makes sense to properly cover what we have within the city. We had a quarterly investment review, and again, looking at the balances and what we're invested in and the 3 different banks. So we utilize around $20 million in assets. So again, nothing of concern. And then finally wrapped up with bank to book reconciliation, check register, and some income tax collection information. So had a good discussion. Meeting went well. So thank you, Mr. Capel.
No report tonight.
Ms. Cooper,
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Martin.
There was a fire board meeting last Thursday, and tonight I've invited Chief Kovacs to come and give the fire board report.
Welcome.
Thanks for being here tonight.
It is,
Okay.
yeah.
See how, good evening, everybody can see it. Chris Kovacs, your fire chief. If you don't know me, I think I've got everybody in here though. So I just wanted to let everybody know that after speaking with Dave's our fire board rep now, we're glad to have him. We'll keep coming every month like we did last year. He'll get me a couple of times, and then the other months he'll get some of my officers. Even though they may not show it, they actually do like coming. It's a really good experience. So they'll keep doing that. Just a few updates for us. We're working on the 2024 annual report. We're ready late March, and if council wishes, we can schedule a time and we can tell them, give an abridged version of it, because I tend to be pretty lengthy with that, so we'll try to keep it short for you, just do the highlights. We just again had another record year. We had 1,644 incident responses, up about 3.5% over 2023. And obviously we expect that to continue to grow as the population increases. No significant trends or anything like that, just kind of normal increases as we went through the year. You can anticipate opening the second station next year. We did add 3 full-time firefighters at the end of last year. They started in January. Just like every fire department across the country, we are having some recruitment and retention issues with part-time. And this is to help offset that and increase our staffing to a little bit more reliable staffing model. We still need our part-timers. They're still really important to us. But this allows us to move forward in a little bit more responsible manner. There's a lot of upstart that comes with that. I'm sure you see where he knows that, when we turn over part-timers, it get pretty costly. So we went ahead and did that. We'll continue monitoring that to make sure that's working and it's where we want to be. Talking about the second station, I don't know if anybody's driven by. The address is 485 Wilson Road, just north of Camping World. 2 weeks ago, they did start pushing dirt and start earthwork. So we'll be posting progress pictures online as we go through that project. We were able to get the truck up for about 5 minutes before it freaked out and said it's way too cold. So as the weather gets better, we'll have more and more pictures and we'll send that stuff out.
What's the expected completion date?
So we're expecting substantial completion in first quarter of 26. Still waiting on a refined timeline because concrete's we don't want to start concrete work until the weather gets a little better. So that is going to push that out a little bit. We're expecting foundation work to start late March. And by then we should have a better timeline. We're expecting to occupy sometime first quarter of 26. And that's about as accurate as I can give right now, but we'll put that out as well once we have a definitive timeline. The site work has started. It's a local company that's in the site work, Iron Site, which is good. They're fantastic to work with. And actually, the superintendent for that used to be a firefighter on our department, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty happy to get the project. There's a sense of pride with them, especially being able to keep that as it's local. We really like it. it's moving along well. We are planning a groundbreaking ceremony, but we want to wait till the weather gets a little bit better. Once that is, we'll distribute that out to everybody, and obviously you guys will all be invited to come if you want to come break the cold.
Yes.
You could announce the date of it because we moved on, yeah, we voted on it the other night. Yeah, March 10th at 4 p.m. It's going to be the.
What time?
4 p.m.
4 p.m. on March 10th.
Yeah.
Protection if necessary.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get some stone down there, so we're not standing in mud, but.
Get the keys to Camping World and maybe just go in there and. Possible. Right.
Any questions from you guys? That's all I've got for you tonight, short and sweet.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief? All right. Thanks for coming in and I appreciate the update. Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Good to see you.
Sure.
Okay, Mr. Martin, do you have anything else?
I was just going to say, I did ask him if they could turn the sirens down a little bit when they're driving past my house.
What they say?
He said, no, we can't.
That's a no-go, huh?
Perks.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Mr. Goes.
Nothing to report.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, Mr. DC Wade, I think that takes us to the police report.
Evening, council, mayor.
No.
Since he's been caught. Chief has submitted his report. Just some of the highlights. Our Columbia Gas inspection went off without a hitch as far as, or the actual inspection of our generator. So everything's good and there's no need for a new service line. Community engagement wise, the state of the city security is in place and our drone team will be present as well as members of the police department. New cruisers, the chief and I went to Bullet, the upfitters in Plain City, spent some time with those guys, looked at their facility, just kind of overlooking things. They've given us a portal that allows us to see this, the stuff that's in order for the upfitting and kind of where it stands, gives us a little better timeline. We're looking by the end of the month to receive the supply to start the upfitting, and that is for the Durangos. Roughly 1 to 2 weeks per Durango on the upfitting. They seem to be optimistic that if it's on hand, they can do 1 a week. Training wise, we have 2 of our officers right now in field training certification class. So obviously these guys go through a model field training program as they're hired. And it's a consistent one that is done, carried over from new hire to new hire. And the officers that do the field training, a very important part of the staffing and getting them ready to go out on the street. Is an important project. So we have 2, Officer Wallbacher and Officer Plummer are currently in field training this week. So, are in training to become field training officers. And with that, I can answer any questions you may have for the police report.
Questions?
It looks like to me a couple of the cars, the newer ones are darker. Is there, or they don't have as many decals on them? I was wondering, are they unmarked?
No, there's some of them that are not wrapped yet.
I like them unmarked.
Yeah, so do we, but there's a thing called Ohio law. We have to be marked to enforce traffic, so.
All right, well, thank you for the report. Appreciate it. Mr. Hennessy, I think it takes us to the administrator's report.
All right. A reminder, the State of the City address is tomorrow evening. We do need a quorum of council members there in order to conduct the meeting. So it has been posted as a special meeting. Of course, it is available to anyone who wants to attend. But we also did send out, I think we talked a little bit about this, about 250 direct invitations to residents, businesses, elected officials, what have you. So hope you have a good crowd tomorrow. Hopefully you can join us. If you're not going to be able to join us, please let me know. So again, we can confirm we're going to have a quorum. The doors will open at 6. The program begins at 6:30. ClearGov, just want to let you know that Dana is working actively with the software provider. This is the budgeting and forecasting software that we've talked about in the past. So that is underway in terms of being operational here soon. So that's in the works. And then I just want to let you know that both Caitlin and I will be at the Ohio City and County Management Association annual conference next week, Wednesday through Friday. If you need to reach us, text or phone is probably going to be the best way. So we're reachable. It's here in Columbus, but just know that it'll be a little less reachable. So So that's the administrative report. If there are any questions, and the engineer is not here, so I'll cover the engineer's report as
Thank
well. Okay, so there are two items on the engineer's report that I want to call out in particular. So one is the Columbus Street parking lot. As a reminder, this is the additional parking lot here at the corner of Columbus and Granville Street. We've been designing this for, I don't know, 6 to 9 months or so. It is now ready to be bid, and in fact is out on the street now. So we should have bids. We'll have a bid opening on March 11th for this project. So getting close to something happening over at that corner. As a reminder, this one will have pervious pavement as part of it, brick work. Of address stormwater management issues in a way that's a little more creative than we've been able to do in some other places. So that's an exciting project. And then the other one, also out to bid, the Cheshire Road lift station upgrades. So this will have a bid opening on the 12th of March. So you should see both of these back in front of you sometime in the April-ish timeframe, where we'll be recommending contractors to do both projects. Cheshire Road lift station, as a reminder, the upgrades are necessary in order to support the Kidner Crossing development that we've been talking about for some period of time. So we are also looking to do some pipe repair work in that area as well. I think we've talked about this in the services committee. One way to expand the capacity of our wastewater treatment plant is to limit the amount of water that gets into the system and gets treated. So while these are not directly related to each other, they are connected by the same pipe. So a lot should be happening in the Cheshire Road area for sanitary projects here coming up. So that is that, unless anybody's got any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Hennessy on the admin report or engineer's report? Right. All right. I think that moves us right into resolutions then. And we do have a third reading, resolution 2025.04, a resolution authorizing the city administrator to enter into an intergovernmental agreement in relation to the joint recreation district. And I believe that we need a motion to go ahead. We're still doing some details with this, still looking at this. So we need a motion to table this for now.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Capel. Motion. May I get a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. Second by Ms. Dreyer. Discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Capel?
Yes.
Ms. Dreyer?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost? Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper? Yes. Mr. Martin?
Yes.
6 yeas, motion passes.
Okay, we have a second reading, which is resolution number 2025.05, a resolution approving engineering services with Verdantis LLC relating to J.R. Smith Park improvements. Nothing to do with that tonight. And we have first reading resolution 2025.06, a resolution authorizing execution of a governmental aggregation services agreement for the provision of electrical energy for the city of Sunbury participating residents and businesses. Again, no action on that first reading.
This one.
Oh, I'm sorry, there is. I apologize. We do need to approve this tonight. I'm sorry, Daryl. And we need a motion to suspend the rules.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Apple, appreciate it. And can we get a second for, I'll second that. How about that? We'll move it right along. And then, do we have any, discussion?
Yeah, maybe if I could just provide a little bit of an update, what happens next. So at the Services Committee, we had had a presentation from our energy broker. This is an annual, biannual exercise that the city goes through to identify an electric rate that is lower than hopefully lower than the AEP tariff that's in place. So this presentation was made again last month. The rate at the moment for our aggregation is somewhere around 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour. Electric rates are rising. We talked a lot about that in the Services Committee. When we talked to the Services Committee, it was about 8.5 cents. It's now running closer to 9 cents. So what happens next is you'll authorize the administrator to basically do one more refresh with the energy broker. This one says that as long as the rate stays below 9.5 cents, that we'll go ahead and execute that. If we do execute that, it ends up being not a big savings if it's at that rate, but we're optimistic that it won't be up to 9.5%, but somewhere around the 9-ish cents, which ends up being somewhere around a 10% savings for every resident. who takes advantage of the aggregation program. As a reminder, residents can opt in, opt out of the system. And so if they can shop and get a better rate, they're certainly entitled to do that. But at least at a baseline, we would be offering a competitive rate for them to take advantage of.
Daryl, this question may not make much sense, but is it safe to say that the longer we wait, that creeps up a little higher or is it
Yeah,
fluctuate just like
it's
the
going
stock
all
market?
over the place. Yeah, I guess it's a commodity, right? Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
I would say there's a better chance it's gonna go up.
Then, right. I say,
We're in a
yeah.
closed spell, and you can't get away from the supply and demand
sure.
issue that we spoke about 2 weeks ago, and that component of everyone's electric bill, which is called capacity,
Mm-hmm.
which is like an insurance premium that everyone pays to be on the grid
Mm-hmm.
when the grid is operating at its maximum tilt, whether
Mhm.
it's a real cold day in the winter or a super hot day in the summer. And that accounts for about 15 to 20% of everyone's electric bill. Nobody can get away from it, nobody can mitigate it. It's just the cost of doing business.
Right.
But I would say, the sooner we can pull the trigger, the better, because yesterday we got a refresh and it was even up today from yesterday.
Mhm.
So we're hopeful that maybe it'll slide back a little more that next refresh.
Okay. So that refresh would be as early as tomorrow. The reason I was asking was like, is there a way to fast track it even, if we're, yeah.
First thing in the morning.
Okay.
We will have the rate and executable documents to Daryl.
Okay.
If he signs them, we'll have it booked by tomorrow afternoon.
Perfect.
So,
Okay. That's pretty quick then. Thank you so much. Appreciate
So
it.
that's Fritz Drake with Scioto Energy, our
Yeah.
energy provider. And the other important thing to note here is the recommendation is for a 12-month program this time.
yeah, and the reason we're recommending 12 months is we don't know what the cost of capacity will be 12 months from now. So we're not in the game of gambling, and we don't want to gamble that rate will be good. We can wait to see what that rate will be by this time, by late this year. We should know what the capacity rate will be beginning June 1st to 26th through May 31st to 27th. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Appreciate the explanation.
Great, thank you.
Okay. So, any other further discussion, Daryl? We want to add anything else? to this?
Unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Okay, so I think we had a motion by Mr. Capel and a second by me, so I think we're ready for a vote.
This is to suspend the rules.
Yes, suspend the rules. Sorry, yes.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
Mr. Ghost,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
Yes,
6
Okay.
yeas.
And then I think we're looking for a motion on resolution 2025.06.
So moved.
And I'll second. That was Mr. Sorry, roll call.
Mr. Capel,
Yes.
Mr. Grumney,
Yes.
Ms. Strayer,
yes,
Mr. Ghost. Mrs. Cooper. Yes. Mr. Martin,
Yes.
6 yeas, motion passes.
Okay, thank you very much. That takes us on to ordinances, no third readings. We do have a second reading, ordinance number 2025.10. An ordinance approving the application of an NPA Commercial Property LLC and Local Provision LLC to amend the development plan and certain development standards for the planned commercial district PCD site located, at the corner of Sunbury Meadows Drive and West Granville Street. No action needed on that. First readings, ordinance number 2025.11, an ordinance awarding the contract for the City of Sunbury Residential Refuse Collection Service for a 3-year period commencing April 1, 2025 to Local Waste Services, Inc., an Ohio corporation, and declaring an emergency. And nothing to be done on that right now. Okay. Okay, that takes us to new and unfinished business. I know Daryl already mentioned the special meeting tomorrow, the state of the city. And again, if anybody has any reason they won't be there, I guess we should notify as soon as possible so we can make sure we have a quorum. Any additional news or new items that we need to discuss before we adjourn?
Let's just, are you going down the,
Yep, we'll start with you. How about that?
okay. No, I attended Leadership Delaware. February's was on the 13th and it was Government Day. So I knew something about this one. So, and the the facilitator, his name is Darren Schulman, and Mr. Bream, since I assume all law directors know each other, you might recognize that name. I asked him, he recognized your name, so he's law director for Upper Arlington, but I believe he worked in Delaware for a while. And he gave out candy for correct answers. So my kids got a bunch of candy because I knew a bunch of
Miniatures or full
those
candy
answers.
bars?
They were little ones, but yeah, so it was really a really great one, especially for the folks who aren't in government. It was a really great event. They had a transportation panel, which was very interesting. They had someone from they had a Delaware County engineer, someone from ODOT, they had a Delaware engineer, and then they had a Federal Highway Administration person. So those were very interesting. And then in the afternoon, we had an Board of Elections Jeopardy game. And it was a super tough game. Like, I mean, you think like, oh, you Board of Elections, like we can, very tough. Luckily on our team, we had a prosecutor and he was like, bam, bam, bam. So, but it was a great event. The Leadership Delawares, I've enjoyed all of them, but the government one, I felt like, okay, yeah, this is good. So
Look familiar.
yeah. It was interesting because it was very basic stuff, but they talked about like, you know, where do municipalities, counties, and townships get their funding? And then so that affects their decision making. And they did talk, one thing that was interesting I wanted to bring up though was they talked about how to get involved. And one of the options was a charter commission review. And they said in Delaware, they have it built into their charter that they are to review it every 8 years. And I know we haven't gotten that far in our charter commission, but I just thought I would throw that out there that we should I think our charter commission should discuss when it, because I know if they don't, it's in 10 years. So I just thought I'd throw that out. And
Yeah, I think our charter as it reads now, it said there's a review at the 5-year mark. That's where we are today. And I think it's at least every 10 years thereafter. So there is something already in our charter.
yeah,
that
because
talks about it.
the
ongoing. But
attorney who used to work in Delaware, he said, he's like, you'd just be surprised what changes in 8 years. And so it was just, but it can be 10. I mean, that's fine with me. I just wanted it built in that we would be reviewing it again. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cooper. I appreciate it. Mr. Martin, anything? Mr. Ghost?
No, sir.
All right, we'll come back. Apple,
nothing here.
Mr.
I have nothing.
Okay. I think that wraps. Our next meeting will be March 5th, same time, same place, right here. And at this point, I guess looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, motion by Ms. Cooper, second by Mr. Ghost. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Cooper?
Yes.
Mr. Ghost?
Yes.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Grumney?
Yes.
Mr. Ayers?